The final of the under 81 kilos category at the 2019 World Championships in Tokyo was quite an affair, and it was tactically very, very interesting because Muki of Israel, one of the biggest throwers in the under 81 kilo category, very exciting. He can explode right and he can explode left, and he catches people of the highest level for Ippon. It's not just a small score, it's always a big score. But of course he makes mistakes as well. When he does make a mistake, it's big because he's going big for the big score. And Casse is somebody that takes advantage of those mistakes. And he was kind of waiting. He'd had great form throughout the year and also in the competition as well. He'd chosen his time, the right time, when to attack, when not to attack. And sometimes I think he was looking for the counter against Muki, waiting for the right time. That time never came, and it turned out to be a really great tactical match. Under 81 kilos, the middleweight category, really well contested here. Muki of Israel going for his first world title. It'll be the first ever world men's champion for Israel ever. And Casse of Belgium, his opponent, and it should be an absolute belter of a fight. And if you can have a look all the time with Muki's all the time looking to attack off the grip. And I think Casse, he waits for the right opportunity to counter-attack. So Muki has to be very, very careful with his attacks, make sure they're strong all the time. Now he has a left-handed attack and a right-handed attack, Muki, and his right-handed attack always goes off the sleeve. But as you can see here, he's backing Casse up to the edge here. And I think his main idea there is to put him under pressure. Let's just play this back again. Put him under pressure, trying to get him to react so that he can come in for his throw. So backing him up to the edge here. And like I say, Casse, very, very experienced fighter. And he just backs away. So backs away from the edge beautifully and then attacks out of danger with his tomonagi. Muki, one of the biggest throwers in the under 81 kilos category. He can go right and he can go left. And what he does actually is when he goes right, he goes off the sleeve and he does his Osoto into a Seotoshi. When he goes left, he goes off the lapel, catches and then in. So his tactics is all out attack. That's what he wants, all out attack. Casse has a really strong Seoinage, so he does this really strong Seoinage off his knees, really strong, come back up. And the interesting part of the first bit of tactics was that Muki was almost waiting for it, wanted him to do it. He was waiting. And what he did first of all was back Casse up towards the edge here. And Casse didn't feel right to commit for the Seoinage. Something wasn't quite right for it, right? So he didn't want to go. So what he did from this position here, rather than step out, because remember, just 1 foot out, or even if it had been caught on the edge here, he would have got a Shido. But he thought about it very, very quickly, and what he did is skip right the way back into the middle, and then the contest carried on. So it was, the first bit of tactics was actually Muki kind of turned it on Casse, but Casse turned it back on him. That tomonagi is an integral part of his attacks, Casse. So Casse of Belgium also going for his first world title. A little bit of nerves here. Remember I said that Muki goes both left and right. When he goes to the left, he goes lapel first and then onto the sleeve to attack. When he goes right, he goes from the sleeve first and then takes the lapel on as he's coming in for the attack. So Casse knows that he's a big thrower. Let's have a look how he sets this up here. So just play it back. So again, like I say, off the sleeve. So he has the sleeve first of all, and then it sets it up for the right-handed attack. Dives for the sleeve, Muki. Catches the sleeve. So here is the sleeve grip. This right hand of Muki, he uses, well, he actually attacks and then grips with that right hand. And then, as we saw, let's just take it back again, that reaching osotogari that he does, and he sometimes does it off the sleeve as well, so he does it off two sleeves. So he'll have this sleeve here for the soda, he has this one here for the traditional sleeve grip, and he does a reaching osotogari here. And now dominating Casse with this overhand grip. There's overhand grip here and the sleeve grip dominating. Casse feels the danger of the technique all the time and then has to think about coming out of it. Has to think about attacking out of it. And he does that very, very well. All the way through the match, he attacks out of danger, but it's a good attack. You've got to be very careful, of course, with the tomonagi that you don't get penalized for the drop and for the false attack. So strong gripping from both of these. Casse, remember, will take advantage of any poor technique from Muki. Tries the tomoe, just manages to move Muki and moves again out of danger. So I think that Casse, his main job here is to stop the danger for the throwing expertise of Muki and then just choose his time and pick his time in order to counter-attack. He's got a good Seoinage as well as Casse of Belgium. So strong fight for grips, as we can see. Now, Muki has the sleeve. This arm coming over again. So this is a right-handed attack. And notice that Muki is being forced to go mostly right here. Doesn't feel easy going left. It was interesting that Muki, all the way through the contest, was only going right. And all the time, I think Casse was situating his body in such a way that Muki only felt comfortable coming this way. And I think if he'd have committed this side here, then there would have been either a pickup or something didn't quite feel right. So it was interesting, and sometimes we find this when we're fighting certain people. They'll kind of draw us in a direction and make us attack one way. And don't forget that Muki can attack both ways. He goes right and he goes left, equally as well. And so it was interesting that all he was doing was trying to go off the sleeve here to catch the sleeve and then attack for his Seotoshi, because he drops to a knee for the Seotoshi. But he only was going one way. And the other interesting thing was that he was almost waiting and waiting for this Seoinage of Casse to come in. So it was kind of a bit of tactics from either one of them to try and counteract the other. Drop Seoinage attempt there from Casse. So Casse looking for that little bit of space in order to rotate underneath for his seoi-nage. Now, Muki looking to change. Again, still looking for that sleeve. Oh, and the commentator in me comes out here, and we can just play that back a little bit and just see exactly what he did there, because that was a superb reactional bit of judo there from Muki. He had already felt the seoi-nage, so he was waiting for the seoi-nage. Notice this grip here from Casse. He's got the inside grip for the seoi-nage. Now what happens is, now as he starts to rotate through here, well, Muki stops right on the hips there, the rotation for the seoi-nage. So these hips, remember, cannot rotate round. They can't rotate all the way round. And this is the brilliant bit about this now, because this hand here from Muki starts to pull and rotate. And look at the head. This head here is just about to change direction. And when it does change direction here, you can see that Muki, here's the change of direction, looks as to where he wants his partner to land here. This arm here is assisting as well. He's really forcing Casse, and Casse just manages to stop the full ippon. This shoulder isn't down, and it means that Muki scores a well-deserved wazari. A brilliant bit of opportune judo there from Muki, and he is a wazari up in this world finals. You have to remember that our body positioning sometimes prevents an attack from happening. So where our body is, if our body's in the wrong place at the right time, or the right time, you know, and the wrong time for me, then I'm going to get caught. So for example, for Casse, stopping the left-handed attacks, his body position was always not quite in the right position for Muki to attack. He didn't feel it. And the same the other way around here, because what happened was he was a bit reluctant to do the seoi-nage. Now he had a good seoi-nage, and actually one of the techniques that he did, he dropped down for the seoi-nage. He gets this grip here, drops down. It's a really good tight one, but Muki had it under control. He jumped straight back up onto his feet here, and it was a good attack. That was the first time and only time that he came in for the seoi-nage with the hips all the way around. Now, the interesting thing was the first score came from Muki, again knowing this seoi-nage, and what happened was Casse started to come in, and Muki stops him by taking this arm around the midsection here. This hand here on the lapel hand starts to pull, but this is interesting because the head is looking one way first of all in order to stop the seoi-nage. He stops the hips rotating here. And then what he does, he switches the head, and his head looks here, and he takes Casse down onto his side here for a clear wazari. And it was a great body movement. It was a real body movement that enabled him to take Casse down. Great wazari. And now Casse was under pressure. So now Casse has to think about what he's going to do. And you can see there that straight on the rebound there, Muki does his first attack on the left. And we can have a look at this in slow motion because it happens almost immediately. Casse has to come forwards. Now, Muki takes hold of the inside lapel grip here, and that's the difference between his right attack and his left attack. And this is the first time that he will have attacked with this Osoto on the other side. And what he does a reaching Osoto and then turns it into Siatoshi. And he does it both right and left. And Casse goes over onto his side. And that, again, is a clear Wazari. And two Wazaris, of course, win him his first world title. And I'm going to keep this going because what happened was then Casse comes up. He comes out and, of course, he realizes that he's got to do something here. And the first time that he gets the body position here, Muki, which was the opening second after the first score, he catches the lapel, he does the Osoto into the Siatosh here, takes Casse down onto his side for the second Wazari. And within, 10-15 seconds, Muki had scored 2 Wazaris to win the world title and to win it in style. It was brilliant tactics. He waited the right moment to do his left-handed attack. He was forced right for most of the contest. And it was Casse that had to take the fight to Muki. And Muki, he was just biding his time. And I think his kind of judo, which is an all-out attacking judo, he has to go for it. But he had to be a little bit careful with Casse because Casse was waiting. He was waiting for him. He forced him to go right most of the contest. He was waiting for the opportunity to do the Seoinage, and he didn't get it. And in the end, Wazari on the right in the dying seconds there, and then switched it to left to get his second Wazari. And you can see there, good sports, great judo, great attacking judo from Muki. And Muki wins Israel's first ever men's world title. Brilliant performance from 2 brilliant judoka. It was a great fight, tactically from both sides. And it's interesting that sometimes it feels right to attack. Sometimes it doesn't. So we have to be a little bit careful when we attack and when we don't. When we do, as you could see there with Muki, on both occasions, to the right and to the left, it was the right time.
Goodness me, I don't think I've ever seen a technique like it. That's the throw of the tournament.